Today we're going to talk about the five main considerations that went into choosing the Mercedes 3500 that we got. Specifically, we'll talk about Mercedes versus Ford versus Ram, also about standard versus high roof, a long versus short van in Mercedes case 144 versus 170, a dually, and the big one, whether or not to get four-wheel drive. So the first challenge with our van conversion was picking the van to convert. Big ones out there are the Mercedes, the Ford, and the Ram. We ultimately went with the Mercedes primarily because of its reputation for longevity. So you'll routinely see these diesel engines with 300 plus thousand miles on them. And we figured if we're going to be investing all this money in a van that we wanted to go with something that would last for a long time. Additionally, the diesel engine, a little bit better gas mileage, but ultimately just came to that down to that reputation for longevity, particularly if we're looking at resale. I think the Ford and Ram are great options, but the Mercedes just had what we were looking for in that regard. Next big issue is the height of the roof. So there's standard roof and high roof. And at least in the Mercedes, the one we got, it was a 67-inch for standard versus 79-inch for high roof. And even though the standard, that's 5 feet 7, you might think that sounds all right. By the time you build it out, functionally, it's more like 5 feet 4, 5 feet 5. And the 6 foot 7-inch high roof, you build it out, it's more like 6 feet 4 inches. Really, there's almost no debate. If you're going to be living in the van, do not. There is nobody that's ever happy with the standard roof. Get the high roof. It's just not livable if you're crouched down all the time, unless you're maybe 5 feet or less, and everyone that's going to be in your van is 5 feet or less. This is kind of a non-issue. You get the high roof. Next big decision is basically a shorter or longer van. In the Mercedes, that's 140 versus the 170-inch wheelbase. A lot of debate about this. Basically, with the 140-inch, you're going for more drivability, easier to park, easier to get around. And the 170-inch, you're going for more space. I would say if you have two people or less, then the 140 can be a consideration. And then you just kind of got to choose your layout and see if that's going to work for you. But if you're expecting any more than two people to be living out of this van, then you've got to go 170. So for us, with 6 people, it was a no-brainer, 170-inch wheelbase. You can see here that the camera is looking in on the fact that this is a dually. So there is a single axle with 2 tires on each side in the rear, so 4 tires in the back. This is also a controversial thing. It is great. It gives you a little bit more towing capacity, a little more stability, and it's great for managing more weight. So if you're really building this out, big water tanks like we're doing, or other items that are going to really weigh up the van down, then a dually is a great option. However, there is a big debate about whether it's going to handle better or worse on dirt roads and in snow. So a dually generally it's going to give you another inch of clearance, so that's going to do well for off-road issues in terms of not getting stuck. If it's not weighted down, it's actually going to handle worse in the snow because you're spreading out the weight over more surface area, so it doesn't dig down as well. However, if you put enough weight on it, it's actually going to do better in the snow because now you have 2 tires that are digging down. So the dually is all a question of weight. If you need it to handle more weight, then it's great. And if you put more weight in it, it'll dig down, handle well in the snow. If not, it's going to do worse in the snow, and there's no point to having a dually. The other big snow issue to be aware of is the rear tires are not tracking in line with the front tire. So as you go through snow, those rear tires are going to be not following in the same path, but moving kind of side to side. And there are reports of a little bit of drift as the tires go in and out of line with the front tire. But again, if you have enough weight, that's what's really going to sink in and give you the traction. We are planning to take this van in snow. We'll give a report on how it does, but our understanding is as long as we have enough weight in the van, it should dig down and track well. Okay, last issue, and this is kind of the big one when people are building out a van to live out of, is whether or not to get four-wheel drive. So the main reasons you'd want four-wheel drive are to drive in the snow and to drive it off-road. So we'll take snow first. So I should start by saying we did not get four-wheel drive, and here are the reasons why. Number one, in snow. So my neighbor runs a company where they buy dozens of Mercedes Sprinter vans, and they also run a shuttle at a ski resort, and none of their shuttles are four-wheel drive. They have not gotten stuck anywhere ever, and they just don't have issues. They're weighted with enough people, and they carry fine. So as long as the van is weighted down, it's going to have enough traction. And based on his experience of driving thousands of miles in dozens of different vans, thousands of hours in the snow, there's not an issue for him of having ever gotten stuck. And part of that he attributes to the weight, and part of that he attributes to the van itself. So taking his experience, which is about as good as you can find out there, we decided to not get four-wheel drive based on our interest in driving in the snow. Now the other big issue is taking it off-road. There I can definitely see there are times where you're on an incline or you're in mud, dirt conditions, rocky roads, and you want four-wheel drive to avoid getting stuck. And so not because of the snow issue, but because of this off-road issue, we were thinking let's get four-wheel drive, and that's what you see. People pay another $10,000 to get four-wheel drive. However, talking with multiple people who build out vans, you are putting a lot of quality cabinetry and water tanks and kitchenette setup and other things of that nature. You're putting a lot of money into building out a van in a specific way. And none of those added amenities are built to go off-roading. So basically, the wisdom that I got from these van builders is if you want to go off-roading, you don't want to take your Mercedes van conversion. It's going to hammer the cabinetry. It's going to hammer all those things that you've put so much money into building out. And even though it's fun for a while, if you're planning on using this for a few years, you're going to regret having gone on rough roads. If that's what you want to do, you pull your ATV or side-by-side or dirt bike behind you, or you make some other plans for that trip if off-roading is your thing. Because these vans, even though you can build the van out itself to be able to handle off-roading, unless you have a very minimalist van build, you don't want to be taking this on off-road. And in our case, we're doing a kitchenette, we're doing a triple bunk, we're doing a table, we're doing a lot of things that is quality cabinetry work, and we don't want that to get trashed. So, summary point, if you're building out a nice van to live in, skip the four-wheel drive. If you're building out a very basic van that you'll kind of be roughing it in and it's just somewhere to sleep, but there's not a lot of fine building that's gone on inside of it, then you can consider that four-wheel drive and you can take it off-road and hammer it a bit, and you don't have to worry about everything that you've built on the inside getting beat up. So there you have it, a summary of why we chose the Mercedes 3500 without four-wheel drive.